Here we have the new Honor Magic 7 Lite smartphone, which costs right around 400 euros, and today we will check out everything this one has to offer, and let's start right away with the unboxing. So the first thing that pops up once you open up the box is the Honor Magic 7 Lite. Now as you can see, I got the titanium black version, but you can also get it in the color titanium purple, but both color styles will cost you 400 euros. Further down you will find the warranty card and a quick starting guide, as well as the USB Type-C to USB Type-A charging cable. And of course there's a SIM pin as well. Now I don't know if I was lucky, but at least right now when you buy the smartphone, you will also get a pair of earbuds and a 66 watts charging adapter. Unfortunately, you will not get a case once you buy the smartphone. Now let's talk a little bit about the specs and the design, and you really have to say that this phone looks very pretty on the backside, and the main reason is the big camera element. Now you got that bronze ripple effect around the camera element, which looks just awesome. The rest of the plastic backside is very basic, on which you will also see all of your fingerprints. One of the best parts about the design is actually the size of this phone. It's just 8mm wide and has a 6.78-inch curved display with a screen to body ratio of 91%. Overall, this phone weighs in at 190 grams, which is fairly light, but it's only IP64 water resistant, which is just enough for some water splashes, but nothing more. But therefore it is drop resistant up to a height from 2 meters, even though I wouldn't try it myself. Now as I said, you have a 6.78-inch AMOLED display with a peak brightness of 4000 nits and a 120Hz refresh rate, which you can also trim down to 60Hz if you want to save a little bit of your battery life. This phone also comes with a few display features like the Honor Eye Comfort, which tints the screen amber to reduce the strain on your eyes at night. There is an ebook mode which turns the screen black and white, but you can also adjust the color temperature of the display and change the color mode from normal to vivid. There's also a video enhancer which enhances the colors and the contrast of your full screen videos. Besides that, watching some animes on Crunchyroll or one of those dark criminal CIA shows on Netflix will be no problem on this phone thanks to the AMOLED display. You will also get some very nice poppy colors, the contrast is good as well, and since you have a screen to body ratio of about 91%, you will barely see any black bezels on this phone. Audio wise, the Honor Magic 7 Lite has a stereo speaker setup and the sound is actually pretty decent. It has some good volume and the quality of the sound is good as well. When it comes to the battery life, this phone is very good. You got a very big 6600 mAh battery that lasts up to 25 hours on continuous video streaming, or you can play games non-stop for about 5.5 hours. Also, charging this phone doesn't take that long thanks to the 66 watts wired charging. It charges to 80% in just 42 minutes and a full charge takes about 70 minutes. Feature-wise, the Honor Magic 7 Lite runs on the older Magic OS 8.0 based on Android 14, and you can grab this phone with 8 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of internal storage, of which about 26 are already used up by the system. This phone has an under-display fingerprint sensor, which seems to work just fine, but it comes with a slight delay every time. Then there's a face detection as well, and this one works just as good. By the way, there are up to 6 different fingerprint animations that you can choose from, like this water blaze one or the burst fireworks. This phone also doesn't come with a whole lot of crapware. There are only a few unnecessary apps like 1 or 2 game apps or Facebook, but certainly not as many as with some other smartphones. As for the customization options, you can change your font style and also the icons. There are different theme styles that you can choose from, and you will get an always on display mode as well with many different images, graffitis, digital and analog clocks. Now you need to know that you don't get any AI features on this phone, but you will get stuff like some safety and emergency features. You can adjust the status bar, there's a one-handed mode, you got some multi-window action and some gesture controls. Like you can quickly launch the torch by double pressing your volume button, or you can swipe down on your display with 3 fingers to take a screenshot. Something else which is pretty cool is that you can shrink and enlarge your photos simply by long pressing on your folder. Alright, let's talk some about the performance and the gaming. And the Honor Magic 7 Lite runs on the pretty old Snapdragon 6 Gen 1 chipset, but it is good enough for your everyday usage. In most situations it works good, but sometimes when you switch between camera modes, it does take an extra second. Also, when it comes to the gaming, it is doing a decent job. So I enabled the high graphics settings and the 60 FPS mode, and it runs pretty smooth even while I'm fighting. Of course, that is with the game mode enabled. Besides the game mode, there's also a balance mode. You can activate the D&D mode, you can take screenshots, lock the screen, and there is a mistouch prevention as well. Okay, let's finally talk about the camera. So this one is a dual camera setup with a 108 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization, and there is a 5 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. Now on the front you have a 16 megapixel camera which can shoot videos in 1080p and 30 fps, whereas the main camera is a little bit better with 4K and 30 fps. This phone also comes with a few camera modes like a portrait mode with a 2x and a 3x zoom option, and you can also adjust the depth of field. There's a night and an aperture mode. You have a multi-video option, a pro mode, slow motion, and many more. As for the pictures themselves, they are actually pretty good considering the price of the phone. Your normal pictures, or even the ones with the 2x zoom, look great. You have some very poppy colors and the contrast is decent. You can even zoom in on your pictures and the detail level is still pretty good. The skin tone of people stays natural and colors are not oversaturated. On your portrait shots you can adjust the depth of field and pictures will get a nice background blur. The portrait shots with your main camera are good as well, but right here you just have to keep in mind that you need to be pretty close to your subject. The difference in color of your normal and ultra wide angle pictures is almost not noticeable. Pictures just won't have the same detail level and sharpness. Just when you switch to the 3x zoom, pictures lose some of the color and pictures also get much brighter. This phone has a maximum zoom of 10x, but for good pictures you should stick to a maximum of 2x.